Hi everyone, it's Missy, and this is a update for my lettuce garden that I grew this year with my AeroGarden. I apologize for my voice. I'm trying to get over a cold, and that's one of the reasons why I haven't been making a lot of videos this winter is because I have been sick quite often, but I think I'm finally over the worst. So I hope that if words come out or you can't understand me, just leave a comment below and I'll try to reiterate what I was trying to show you guys. So, what I have here is my lettuce garden at 69 days old. I harvested some this morning and it tasted pretty bitter. The back lettuce leaves have actually started dying. I'll bring you guys up closer so maybe you could see. They're turning brown on the edges. And I haven't had any issues with bolting or anything like that. I've been taking consistent small harvests. And so it's just come to the point where it's just ending its life cycle. You can see on my screen I got a lot of red warnings going on. Today was the day I was supposed to add nutrients, spend another 14 days, and then also my water level. It's like, okay, add water. I just must be at that setting where it doesn't know which way it wants to go. So, I'm gonna finish the garden. I mean, it's done. So I am gonna show you guys how to clean up your AeroGarden unit after you are ready, or you're ready basically to throw your plants out and start over. So, the first thing I do is I raise the light hood just so that way I can get in here. So I'm just going to raise it all the way up as far as I can so I can just work through here. And this one raises about 2 feet, so I mean it's a lot of space I can work with. And I can bring you guys up here too so you can see a little better. And then I'm just going to unplug the unit. I don't need the light. I really don't need these warning messages or anything on here. And I was going to just see quick though. They have some help guides. If it says anything. Nope. There's no help section that I can see for cleaning an AeroGarden. I actually looked in my written instructions and I couldn't find anything either on how to clean. There, now the power's off. How to clean an AeroGarden, and so I actually had to consult the AeroGarden website just to see that. But I'm just going to pull out one of the pods, and you can see the root growth. It is just, that's a lot of root growth, and which is why I had a lot of plant growth, which is great. So I'm just pulling out the pods one by one. I'm not going to be pulling out all the roots in one shot. I know that much. Now, you can cut the plant. There we go. I'm pulling the roots out of the plastic part. And so this was the peat that it was growing in. And I am just going to toss this out in my garbage, or compost is what it should really be. My garbage can here. And I'm just pulling the roots off the plastic. So this is that plastic cone that my items can't, or that the peat had already come in with the seed and everything for the salad green kit. I was just double checking to see hoping that this was recyclable, but maybe not. But you can reuse these. You can get a new peat filler, which is what I have, pop it in there and put a new seed in there. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to clean these up, and you can get a new paper ring to go over the top. You can make one yourself, and that's what I'll do. I'll just reuse these for another time when I want to plant a garden. That way I don't have to buy those expensive seed kits. And I'll just continue pulling out each pod here. So I removed all the lettuce plants, and this is just the cover that goes over the top. I'm gonna open it up for you guys. Everything here is pretty dirty, as you can tell. But if I can get this. can see all the roots on the bottom. I'm just going to flip this upside down and set it on my countertop here. And I'm just going to take and clean the roots off. Any of the large pieces that I see, I can just add to what I had already pulled out. Into my compost scrap bin here. And then we'll be washing, rinsing all that off. And now you could see into the actual basin. So I do have some roots that have attached themselves to the filter. That was where the water intake was. I'm just going to take those out. And I have some roots that wrapped around my cord, wrapped around this little gizmo here. And I know the water level looks really, really low now, but there was a lot of roots sitting in here. So I removed all that matter, and so the water level dropped even lower. But it has kind of a yellowish tinge to it. Like I said, there'd be fertilizer in there and whatnot. I also have my filter here, which will get discarded because I do have new ones to replace it for the new garden that I'm going to be putting in here. But what I need to do now is detach the basin from the rest of the unit, and then I am going to dump out all this water and whatnot, and then I'll refill it with my homemade cleaning solution, or what AeroGarden actually recommends for cleaning, which is going to help get this sanitized for the new garden. So I'll get this cleaned out. I'm just going to bring it to my sink, dump everything out, and then I'm just going to probably run it under running water just to get more of this larger stuff rinsed out, and then I'll bring it back here and show you what the next step is. So I got everything dumped out and rinsed off. I got my unit back in here and I re-plugged in the pump. And now you have two options. You can either use chlorine bleach or you can use distilled white vinegar. If you're going to use distilled white vinegar, you need to add 5 cups of that into the basin. Or I'm going to use chlorine bleach, and that is a 1/4 cup. So I'm just measuring out my 1/4 cup, just pouring that into the bottom. With either method, the vinegar or the bleach, you want to rinse it out very well in the end. But this is going to be our wash cycle. So now that I've added the bleach, I'm just going to add enough water to fill the basin. So to the fill here mark. I'm just using distilled water like I've used through this entire process. Alright, so I'm at my mark. So now all I need to do is replace the cover. And I'm going to re-plug my unit in. And now the pump is running. I see it went back to my original settings, but I'm just going to go to the pump. 5 minutes. And after the 5 minutes are up, I'll power off the unit. I'm going to dump all the water out, and then we'll do our rinse cycle. Okay, so my pump shut off because it's finished its 5-minute recirculation cycle. So again, we shut the power off. And I'll take the cover off and see what we got. What it looks like. Oh, that looks a lot cleaner than when I initially took the cover off, that's for sure. So it looks pretty clear. So now I'm just going to remove the basin and dump this out in the sink. And then we're going to refill it and run the circulation cycle again for another 5 minutes. So all I'm doing is I'm just pulling the cord in the back that runs the pump, or is the electricity for the pump. And I can just remove the basin by just lifting up. And I'm ready to dump it out. Okay, so I'm on my second and final rinse. AeroGarden says that you only have to do a clean water rinse twice. If you want to do a third one, be my guest. You are so welcome to do that. Actually, I kind of recommend it, especially when you use bleach, because I never feel like I get it all out. But what I did is I took the cover and I took the basin and I just ran it under running water, each of them, for 5 minutes. And now I filled the basin again, and I'm going to run the pump again for another 5 minutes. So, just going to put that cover back on, get the power turned on, and let it run for 5 minutes. And I think that this was probably the hardest part of the whole cleaning thing, is the dumping out of the water and refilling. The pump, of course, takes care of most of the work for you. But after I finish this rinse, I'll show you the last step. Okay, so my rinse cycle is finished for the last time. I'm going to pull the power on this unit. And then what you want to do is have the pieces dry, just so that way there's no mold growth or anything. So I'm just going to take the cover, try to shake out any extra water in there. And I'm just going to lay it upside down on my counter, just so that way it can air dry out. And then I'm also going to drain the basin and let that air dry. But the last thing that I do is I remove the foam filter. And now, some people say that they wash these out and reuse them. But the thing that I found is that it's really, really hard to get all that root out. And I've tried. And these filters really weren't that expensive, so I just bought a package of new ones. So I'm just going to discard this one, and then drain the basin, let it air dry, and then in a couple days I'll be ready to start my new AeroGarden. So if you had any other questions, you can leave me a comment below. Otherwise, I hope you found this helpful. Thanks for watching. Bye.